Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in to another weekly spirit boost. I am Tammy Master Birdie, best-selling author of the book The Universe is Talking to You, and I teach people how to tap in to what I refer to as the divine higher helpline, available to us all 24/7. And I'm excited about today because I was reminded, probably by spirit, actually, for a friend, of a ritual that I'm going to teach all of you to freeze, literally freeze negativity from coming at you, whether it's in general, whether you are dealing with an issue with a specific person, all of it. Okay. And so we're going to talk about it. I love rituals. I do rituals all of the time. Rituals set an intention. Rituals harness the energy of the universe. Rituals harness higher help. Rituals do so much for you. And obviously, I'm talking about spiritual rituals, right? We all have rituals. Maybe in the morning you brush your teeth. That's a ritual, right? Hopefully, in the morning you brush your teeth. That's a ritual. I'm talking about spiritual rituals. So, specifically, in my higher help book that's coming out in April, it's filled with rituals because it's part of my higher help method. The ritual I'm going to be sharing with you today, I cannot take credit for, although I did tweak it. So you know me, if you've followed me for a while, you know that I sort of take things and make them my own because I like to just tweak things. So, but I'm going to share with you the actual ritual, and then I'm going to share with you how I've tweaked it for myself in the past. So years ago, I'm going back at least 10 years, probably in the area of 10 years. I learned this ritual from Sonia Choquette. So anybody who knows Sonia Choquette, she is an amazing spiritual teacher. She really teaches about opening your intuition. She is a best-selling author. And years ago, I did training with her and things like that. And so I learned this ritual to freeze negativity. I believe it is actually in one of her books. I want to say it's the Trust Your Vibes book that she wrote. I'm pretty sure it's the Trust Your Vibes book. So anyway, I've done this ritual before. I haven't done it myself personally in years, and I had completely forgotten about it. Totally forgot about the ritual. And then what happened was something had popped up for someone in my life, a friend of mine. And they were talking to me about a situation with a specific person. And I was like, oh my gosh, trying to help them with the situation. And then it was nighttime. I was going to bed. I still had it in my mind. And all of a sudden, I'm telling you, Spirit reminded me of this. All of a sudden, I was like, oh my God, she needs to freeze them. She needs to freeze the negativity. So I said, I looked it up because I hadn't done it in so long. And I looked it up and I said, this is what you need to do. And when I have done this ritual in the past, and people that I've told about doing this ritual, whether it is, again, whether you feel like you have a dark cloud hanging over your head, whether you feel like there's just negative energy coming at you, you don't know why, you're stuck in like a cycle of negativity and you're like, what's happening and how can I break out of this? Or if you have a specific person who is driving you nuts, who is just causing problems for you, who is jealous of you, who is just messing with you, who you feel is negative around you or draining you, and their energy is having an effect on you. This is the ritual that I would say to do. Now, Sonia, when she describes the ritual, literally, I want to say it was someone that was working for her at the time. And so she did the ritual. She was having an issue with a specific person. She did the ritual and the person just literally wound up quitting, right? She didn't have to do anything. The person quit. This is what I'm paraphrasing basically from what I remember from years ago. So basically what happens is if you do this in general, you feel lighter. You notice things starting to go right. If you're doing it for a specific situation that you're struggling with, or a specific person that you're like, I can't take this anymore. I need to, and you can't, especially if you can't get rid of this person in your life. Or again, like I said, let's say you ended a relationship and you still feel like there's negativity coming at you. You can do it for a specific person. I have found that again, things to get better. The negativity stops. The person themselves will all of a sudden change in some way, and things get better. So I've literally had people do this and, get apologies the next day or just crazy stuff. So anyway, I had this person do it. And she was like, I noticed a difference the next day. Okay. So I digress. I'm going up and up, and I want to give you the actual ritual. So first I'm going to give it to you the way that Sonia Choquette teaches it. And then I'm going to tell you what I have done in the past to target if there's a specific person. Okay. Here's what you need for this ritual. Some type of a glass jar, something that you can put in your freezer. Okay. So I have done it with like mason jars. I have even done it. Let's say you don't have a jar in the house and you're like, but I need to do it right now. If you have like a Ziploc baggie that can go in the freezer, you can do it in the Ziploc baggie. And I've had baggies in my freezer in the past. Okay. Again, I haven't done this in so long. And I'm just so glad that I remembered to tell somebody about it so I could share it with you, because this really is an awesome thing. So a Ziploc baggie or some type of a container, blue food coloring, and a piece of paper and a pen. That's it. So I'm going to start with the way that she teaches it, and then I'm going to tell you my add-ons. Okay. So what you do is you take the jar or the baggie or whatever. I believe she taught a jar. I've done it in Ziploc bags that go in the freezer. You take it and you fill it with water. If it is a glass jar, and I've learned this the hard way, many of you might be smarter than me and already know this, but if it is a glass jar, don't fill it up all the way. It will crack in the freezer, because apparently when you freeze it, water expands. Duh, Tammy, science class 101. So don't fill it all the way. I'm just telling you because I've had it crack in the freezer and had to redo it, and then there's glass. Not pretty. So if you're doing it in a glass jar, don't fill the water up all the way, but fill it with water. If you're doing a baggie, fill it up like halfway, whatever. You're going to take the blue food coloring and drop it into the water. So you're going to drop it into the jar, just a drop or two into the jar or into the water. Why blue food coloring? Blue is going in this ritual is representing protection. Okay. The blue is representing protection, because remember, you are trying to protect yourself from negativity coming at you. So you put the blue food coloring in. You take a piece of paper. Usually what I do is I'll take like a piece of paper and cut a strip of it. So I'll cut like a strip of paper. And I'm going to tell you what you have to write in your handwriting on this paper. I don't think the color ink matters or anything like that from what I recall. Hold on. I have it written down so I can tell you exactly what you have to do. Okay. So I'm going to tell you exactly, again, we're doing the Sonia specific way, and then we're going to add in the Tammy extras. This is what you're going to write on the piece of paper. I freeze all negativity, known or unknown. So I freeze all negativity, known or unknown, moving toward me as of now. I freeze all negativity, known or unknown, moving toward me as of now. You're just going to write that on the piece of paper. I then take the strip of paper and I fold it up. But again, it doesn't have to be a strip of paper. I'm just telling you what I do. You can use any paper, Post-it, whatever. Fold it up, drop it into the jar or into the baggie, into the water. Seal the jar or Ziploc the baggie and place it in the freezer. That is all that Sonia Choquette tells you to do. I'm going to tell you what I've added onto it. You go with what resonates with you, but that is all you actually have to do. Okay. Now, what I have added on in the past, and then recently when this came back around to me and I was telling a friend how to do it. If there's a specific person, now again, she says you do not have to do anything else, even if it's a specific person, because you're freezing all negativity, known or unknown, right? So that covers everybody. But sometimes when there's one person that you're just like, please make sure this person is included because they're killing me. what I have done in the past and what I told my friend to do is you would say, I freeze all negativity, known or unknown, moving toward me as of now. And I say, including anything from or connected to, and I'll put the person's name. Do you have to do that? No. It works. It totally works without it, right? I've done it without it. But sometimes when you're really in that state, and just you'll know what you feel like you need to do, right? And test it. But if it's a specific person, I would say including from or connected to the person's name. Then you fold up the paper and you put it in. Now, the other thing that I didn't do in the past, but I actually told my friend to do, which I think is like just extra. Again, you don't have to do it, but I call in higher help for everything, right? So the extra that I said to do, and if I were to do this in the future, I would probably do as well, is as you're closing up the jar or sealing that baggie, I would add calling in Archangel Michael. And I would just say, Archangel Michael, I call you in to my life now to please protect me from any negativity coming at me and to help boost this ritual, especially from if you need to put a person's name. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please surround me with your light of protection. Zip the baggie, put the lid on, put it in the freezer. Okay. Those are the Tammy add-ons, but you can just do Sonia's basic recipe and it works. I cannot tell you. I remember doing it in the future. And I mean, in the future, I'm probably going to have to do it at some point. Please. I've been good with negativity. But I remember doing it in the past and just feeling like, oh my gosh, I felt so much lighter. And then all of a sudden, like I said, like things just started working out, or strange people would do things. And I would think to myself, like, that's uncharacteristic of that person, or wow, that worked out really well. This is strange, right? It's not. The whole point of rituals is really to harness the energy, the all loving, the all knowing, the all protecting, the all guiding, the universal energy of the universe, to harness that energy for something in your life. So whether that is you're trying to manifest something and create something, whether that is you are trying to block something like this exercise, all of that is available to us if we have the right recipes. And again, my Higher Help Method book that's coming out in April, I give you rituals for every area of your life, whether you're trying to attract money in abundance, something with parenting, relationships, health, physical health, emotional health, etc. But this one I had forgotten about. Like I said, I totally forgot about it. And then when I was sitting here and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do my weekly spirit boost on? Because sometimes I'll plan ahead, but sometimes I don't. And I'm just like, what happened I say to myself, what happened this week that I can talk about? What information, what happened in my life or someone else's life, or what came up, or what is in my heart right now to speak about? And as soon as I said, okay, what am I going to do my weekly spirit boost on? I was like, oh my gosh, I got to share that ritual because it came up this week and it's so good and I forgot all about it. So I want you to try it. I want you to try it. Whether you are trying to block negativity in general, if you're just having a bad run of it and you're trying to shift your mindset, you're trying to get yourself out of it, but you just feel like a dark cloud is over you and you just need some extra support. Literally saying, I freeze all negativity, known or unknown, moving toward me as of now, means anything that's coming at you, it gets frozen. It doesn't hit you, right? And that includes everyone and everything in your life. I know people are going to ask me how often or anything like that. Usually I do it and then I forget about it. I keep it in the freezer. I don't ever take it out of the freezer. And then, eventually, obviously, you can throw it out if you want to throw it out. And then if you ever need to do it again, you need to do it again. I've never had to do it multiple times for a specific situation. I've done it multiple times in my life for different situations that come up. So I will redo it. But for the most part, just keep it in your freezer, literally the little jar or the baggie. I remember years ago, I had like freezers just in the back of my bag. This, like I said, we're going back 10 years. This is before I met my husband, all of that. I had like baggies in my freezer for different situations going on. But again, if you have a mason jar, and it doesn't have to be big, it just has to be big enough to fit water, the food coloring, and the paper. and you freeze it, right? And that's it. So I wanted to share it because I feel like it's such a great tool to, again, utilize the energy of the universe and the angels and the protection that we have available to us. It's all about intention and harnessing the energy of the universe. That's really, whether you're manifesting or trying to make a change. I mean, blocking negativity is still trying to make a change, and it can help you manifest because now you're blocking energy that's coming at you that you may not even be aware of. That's why it says known or unknown. So you may do the ritual because you're like, man, X, Y, and Z I got this, they're driving me insane. They're driving me crazy or making my life hell or whatever it might be. So you might know some of it, but you might not know others, right? And so that's why it's known or unknown. So even though you do the ritual, maybe for a specific thing where you say there's a dark cloud hanging over me, I'm having issues, whatever, and you do the ritual for that, you put the known or unknown because I promise you there's probably unknown as well that could be affecting you. And it certainly can't hurt. And you're not harming the person or anybody. You're just stopping the negativity. It's got nothing to do with anybody. You're not like doing anything evil or anything like that. You're just stopping the flow of the negativity. That's it, right? And then that person can go on with their life. But I'll tell you, a lot of the time, and if you do this, please let me know. But a lot of the time, what I have found is that people are shocked at the changes that they see in their life or the changes they see in a specific person. If you're still in contact with that specific person, is basically what I'm saying. And if things kick up again, you do the exercise again. You throw out the original one and you refreeze, right? So it's just a fun thing. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It's super easy. I'm going to go through some of the questions that I might be missing. Oh, somebody on Instagram, something healing is saying, I spoke about blue food coloring last night in a different conversation. That's hysterical. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, you're welcome, Denise, on Instagram. I always forget it's hard for me to see because I'm always reading the Facebook and YouTube comments because they come into my dashboard and then Instagram's on my phone. So it's just so good. So, okay, wait, let me answer some questions that came in. Okay, Michelle says, can multiple people use the same jar or do they need to be separate? So you're saying like if more than one person needs to do the ritual, I would do separate. So like, let's say if you and your son or you and your husband are both going to do it, I would do separate jars or separate baggies. And each of you is going to write. I would do separate personally. Do I think, would it hurt if you did the same one? Probably not. I'm just saying in my life, I have done separate. Also, how long does it stay in the freezer? Oh, okay. Yeah. So I said that. So I would keep it in the freezer until you remember that it's in the freezer or things have passed on and you can start, if you want to start again. But like I said, I remember years ago where I lived in the back of my freezer, I just had like 2 or 3 different baggies from times that I've done it. But just keep it in there and forget about it and just go on with your life. And then if you run across it and you want to get rid of it, you can get rid of it. If you need to do it again, you can do it again. But you don't have to, it's not like, oh, I need to keep it in the freezer for 14 days or whatever. Just keep it in the freezer, right? Keep the negativity at bay. Okay. Let me see. Melissa, can you do this for someone else who's having a problem and is too stubborn to help themselves? I want to say yes. I'm going to ask my pendulum because, I check with the universe on everything, but I feel like you can do it on behalf of someone because I don't think it would hurt. Let me just ask. Hold on. I'm getting yes. So and if I were doing it on behalf of someone, here's the way I would do it. I would say, I freeze all negativity, known or unknown, moving toward this person as of now. I feel like you could do it. I feel like you can do it without their permission because I don't think it's hurting them. It's not like you're doing anything negative. Also, I would say if you know this person and you just know they're not going to do it, but they wouldn't care if you did it, I would ask them. Say, listen, I heard about this thing and, do you care if I do it? You don't have to do anything. And if they say, yeah, go ahead, I don't care, then do it. Does that make sense? That's what I would do. Okay, let me see. How do you do this exercise for a situation's outcome, such as the outcome will be exactly what I wanted to happen? That I don't, this doesn't really work for that. All this exercise does, and really any ritual that I do in anything, I always leave the outcome up to the universe, because the universe has my best interests at heart always, and your best interest at heart always. So I do the ritual, and then I ask to be guided and led to the best possible scenario, either what I desire or something better. That's how I always do it. Help me create what I desire or something better. Because oftentimes we think we want a specific outcome, but there could be something way better than what we're even thinking of right now. And I wouldn't want, I mean, would you want to miss out on something better? I don't want to miss out on something better. So that's sort of how I do it. This particular exercise is just stopping the negativity. So if you stop the negativity, odds are you can create what you want or something better, right? You just want to stop the negativity from coming your way, blocking you or hindering you from the best outcome. Hopefully that makes sense, Tina. Oh, Ruth, I'm glad you love it. Ruth's one of our higher helpline members. Yeah, it's so good, Ruth. You got to try it. Okay, let me see. Because I haven't thought about this, you guys, in years. I mean, years, we're talking years. I haven't even thought about it until a situation came up with a friend, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remembered this thing. This is what you have to do. And then I was like, oh no, I need to tell people about this. Like I'm getting on and sharing. If this reaches Sonia Choquette, I love you and I love your work. And I haven't done this in years, but this is an amazing exercise. Okay. Yeah, Sherry, you ask permission from their higher self in those cases. So listen, now really, I just did this pendulum, right? You can use so if you don't know how to use a pendulum, I keep forgetting, next Thursday, so a week from today, I'm teaching my annual class. It only happens once a year. The link is below in Facebook and YouTube, and in my bio on Instagram, so you can join the class. I literally only teach it one time per year. There is you get a replay if you purchase the class. If you don't, I don't do on demand or anything like that. I just do it once a year. It's just like this amazing experience that I do live once a year. So anyway, what I would do is, personally, if I wanted to ask somebody's higher self, I would muscle test or use a pendulum. So I would literally use my pendulum and ask, am I connected to so-and-so's higher self? If I get a yes, I would then say, do I have permission to do this exercise on their behalf? I love that. That's a great idea. And I would muscle test or use the pendulum. And again, if you don't know how to use the pendulum, I teach you how to find and clear limiting beliefs, find blocks in your chakra system and clear them using the pendulum, tests food, drinks, supplements, anything to see what's right for your body and your health. I do it for my pets. I do it for family members. I do it for friends. I have family members calling me all the time. Can you ask the pendulum X, Y, and Z to see if it's good for me? So it's so much more than just like an intuitive tool. It's literally my best friend. So anyway, that's how I would do it with the higher self. Is I would muscle test and see, am I connected, and then can I do it on their behalf? If you don't want to ask them in person. Let's see. Mary Jane. Oh, yes, I've done it. Oh, but I've never, you mean done it for myself, like my own negativity? I think it's covered in that because it's known or unknown. It's all negativity. Well, this is moving toward me. If you wanted to try it for yourself, I would maybe add the words, I freeze all negativity, known or unknown, moving toward me as of now. I would say I would add in known or unknown within me or moving toward me. That's how I would try it. And again, it's just testing it out and seeing if it works. That's how I create everything. I test it out and see if it works, right? And then I'm like, oh my God, this works. I got to teach it to people. So that's why I gave you the Sonia way, and then I gave you how Tammy has tested it out and it has worked in my own way. So I've done it for myself, meaning in my own life, but I haven't done it for negativity within myself. But that's how I would try it out and add those words in and see what happens. I really like that idea, actually. So thank you for that question. You guys are the best. Ideas. Hold on. Oh, so Phoenix. Yeah, no, you can't interfere with a person's free will. That's why I like the idea of either asking that person. I don't think it would hurt that person, but I like the idea of either asking them or asking their higher self. That's the way that I would go about that. And again, if you can either muscle test, there's various muscle testing methods. I teach the standing method in a video on my YouTube channel. Or I would pendulum test, or I would just ask that person. So like sometimes I'll do something on behalf of my husband, like I do a lot of energy clearing, right? Just in general, different energy clearing methods. I use a lot of work by Amy B. Shear. And so sometimes my husband will say something's bothering him and he doesn't want to do the energy clearing. He doesn't want to do the tapping or whatever. But I'll say to him, like, if I do it for you, do you care? And he'll go, oh no, go ahead. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't have to do it, I'm totally fine if you want to do it for me, right? So either asking that person saying, listen, I heard this exercise, do you care? If they say no, don't do it. If they say no, you have to honor them. But I like asking their higher self or asking them specifically to see if they're okay with you doing it on their behalf. Most people, unless they're like afraid or, you know, I would think, you know, it would be like, oh, if you want to do it, go ahead, see if it helps. You know what I mean? Unless they're just like, no, don't do anything. Higher self and you get a no, don't do it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Melissa's saying she would ask them first. Perfect. Corina, can you add more than one person's name to the jar? 100%. Again, I want to preface, Sonia Choquette was just all negativity known or unknown. She didn't put a person's name. She did it for a specific person. But because you're freezing all negativity, everybody is really included in it. I'm just saying sometimes if there's a specific person that's you're really having issues with, I've added the name before. And again, it's not doing anything to them. It's just stopping that energy from reaching you. But you don't even have to put anybody's name and it still works. It still works because I've done it that way as well. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. I think I answered all of the questions now. So anyway, that is the exercise. Try it. Let me know. Oh, I forgot to take her comment on the screen. Let me know how it works. And I'm excited for you guys. It's the weekend. Try it out. See how your weekend goes. Again, even if you just do it in general, I just want you to try it and then see what happens to the energy around you, because there's never been a time that I have done it that I did not notice a difference. And again, it has been years, but I still remember when I did it, noticing a difference. And the person that I told about this to do it in this past week noticed a difference the next day. Like she did it at night. And then the next day, like 2 or 3 different things happened. And she was like, oh my God, do you think this was from freezing the negativity? And I was like, yeah, it works. It works, and it works quickly, because how quickly does water freeze, right? You put it in the freezer overnight, it's frozen. So anyway, I just wanted to share it. I love sharing rituals and different things that I do and different things that I learn. And this popped up this week, so I thought it would be a good one and a fun one to share with all of you. Again, that pendulum class is happening next Thursday. I'll be on here one more time before it happens because it's 6:00 at night, but the replay is included. And if you've ever wanted to learn the pendulum, again, I say the elevated or the Tammy way, because it's not just like getting your yes or no about things, or, you know, trying to tap into your intuition in that area. I teach you how to use the pendulum to tap into your subconscious mind, to find those beliefs. I teach you how to find the best way to clear those beliefs using the pendulum. The blocks in the chakra system. I'm constantly testing foods, products, makeup products. I am sensitive to everything. I am so sensitive to different, whether it's foods or drinks or products that I put on my face or my body. Like, I'm just sensitive. So I actually learned years ago how to test the different products from a homeopathic doctor. And it's funny because I went to the homeopathic doctor to try and heal myself, and she didn't really help me with that. But she taught me how to do this. And I was like, this is why I was sent to her, because now I know how to test all these different things, and I do it for myself, and you can do it for other people. And it really just, once you learn how to get your yes or no, the possibilities are endless. But I teach you the methods that I use for all of that. So that is, again, the link is in YouTube and in Facebook. It's in the description. And in Instagram, you can go over to my bio and figure it out. So thank you all for joining me. I am going to go, I'm packing stuff up and getting ready. I'm teaching a class in person, my first in-person class since before COVID, this weekend in Lilydale. So I'm excited about that, and I'm going to get ready for that. Anybody that is going to be joining me there, we are going to have so much fun. I can't wait. And then I'll be back here next Thursday for another weekly spirit boost. And of course, be talking about the pendulum class again, because it's happening that night at 6. And it's one of my favorite classes to teach. It's about a 90-minute class, but I usually wind up for 2 hours answering questions. So thank you all for being here. And have an amazing and beautiful weekend. Freeze that negativity. Report back to me what happened. I'm excited for you. And I will, I'm glad you all needed this today. Thank you so much for sharing. And sending you my love. Have an amazing and beautiful weekend. Do something, as I always say, to bring yourself joy and boost yourself. And I will see you guys back here in a week. Bye, everyone.